In 2017, you were named the Sun Belt Conference Pitcher of the Year, compiling a 10-2 overall record with a 1.97 ERA. Gunnar, what was it, mind, body, and soul, that elevated your game to that level?
I don't know that it was anything in particular. I was lucky enough to get put into a role when I was young in college, just because everybody had left after that 2014 team. So I came in 15, and there was a lot of spots open and a lot of innings to be had, and so had a couple good starts, worked my way into the weekend, and got lucky and stuck, and just strung some good starts together. And I think more than anything, I mean, Coach Robe's system and how he taught us and coached us, and what we were trying to be good at is from a pitchability standpoint and controlling the game and sequencing hitters and different things. That was kind of already, I guess, that's what I grew up doing just because I had to. I never really threw very hard, never had the best stuff. So it's kind of like I had to trick you for 6 or 7 innings, and Coach Rowe only made that, I always say he gave me a PhD in that. He gave me a PhD in pitchability and pitching. So, I think that, like I said, that transition was easy for me. So I think he trusted me just because I was comfortable in that system, and I could execute what he wanted, and got some opportunities and rolled with it. And I think heading into my junior year, more than anything, I think it was just I'd already had over 200 innings under my belt, just because of those opportunities, and it was the game just became real slow for me just because we had been through it in my freshman year. We made a regional and played at Alex Box. And then my sophomore year, we hosted a regional. And so we had been in some big environments. And so I think it was just more of a comfortability thing that kind of led to maybe that jump.
When you think about the art of pitching, and you talked about how the game just kind of slowed down for you, like, what does that, can you kind of take us into that? Like, what does that feel like from your perspective when you're on the mound and everything just slows down? Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like?
I think for at least for me, I kind of had like I don't want to say an alter ego. I feel like that's kind of cheesy, but when you got between the lines, it was, to me, it like almost had to be life or death, and that's kind of like how I had to handle or at least carry myself, which may be extreme for a lot of people, but that's kind of where I had to get to. And when I felt like I was locked in and the game was moving slow, you really don't hear anything else, just you and the catcher. It's really like kind of tunnel vision, if you will. And like I said, I think for me, how it really slowed down was just my ability to read hitters, and again, a lot of this was taught to us by Coach Robe. And I mean, we're looking at things from distance between their feet in the box, where their hands are at, kind of where their weight's going in their takes and in their swings, where their barrel angle is through their swing. Just all kind of like little details, fine details. And like I said, I think I just had so many reps and situations doing it, that I think it just started to become a little easier for me and just come natural to me. And so I just felt like I was always like one or two pitches ahead.
Honestly, dude, it's almost like the ultimate act of mindfulness. Like when you're playing a sport and you're that dialed in, it's like the rest of the world doesn't exist. And I know you said you kind of treated it as like life or death like situation, but in some ways you almost have to get to that state of mind in order to, because you're not thinking. You're to me you're not thinking that anymore at that point.
No, it's almost just like you're just trying to like flow through it, which I guess sounds like a little hippie in 70s, but I always tell our guys like it's all energy in reality, especially baseball. Like it's momentum and energy, and so it's how can I control my energy and my momentum and control the momentum and energy of the game. And so if I'm tense and tight and anxious and whatever and not prepared, that gets tough. Something's going to block that energy and block that chain, and my pitches aren't going to be as crisp. And that dugout's going to get a little energy, and maybe they grab the momentum and at least 2 or 3 runs in an inning. Whereas if we can learn how to kind of harness it and bottle it and control it, and like I tell them, we're putting coins in the piggy bank. Don't go grab coins every pitch. Like do what you need to execute the pitch, and when you need 92, 93, 94, then go grab it. So just kind of trying to teach him, I guess, the flow of the game. And again, that's Coach Rowe, man. Like I feel like naturally I was kind of good at that just because I had to be my whole life. And so you kind of trial and error, life or death. It's if you want to get outs and be out there, you figure it out. And then Coach Rowe, like I said, just took it to another level for me.
From my perspective, and you could obviously correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it was meant to be that you and Coach Robe worked together and played together. I think there was something about it when I was in Lafayette, like covering the Cajuns, and there's like something I feel now chatting with you that just kind of brings up, when I was, covering you guys on a daily basis. I don't know, man. It was just like it was meant to be in some crazy way, dude.
No doubt. No, we saw things very similar. The way he communicated, I understood, and so it just worked, man. Like I said, I got lucky, and we got close, and so there was a trust and respect there, and he allowed me to kind of like just let me go, like spread my wings a little bit, which I think really, like I said, I think my junior year, that's kind of what really happened. Was I'd had so many innings and so many reps and been in so many big situations that he kind of like just said, "Hey, do your thing," And I mean, I after my freshman year, Nick Thurman called all of our games. Then Coach Robe had input, but my sophomore and junior year, really from that point on, I called every game that I threw. And I don't even know if he ever called one pitch really in any of those, but so just letting me do my thing, and maybe, not trying to micromanage me, which I think as a coach, it's almost natural to want to, like, do this, do this, do this. That's one thing he was really, really good at. He put you in situations to win. He taught you, and he kind of helped you, especially in the fall. And then he just kind of let you go, man.
That's trust, dude. It's trust. I don't know if this is like similar at all, but like I remember like growing up as a kid, like my mom was always the one who like worried and wanted to make sure that, I was put in positions to succeed. My dad was the kind of guy where like, hey, dude, like you're gonna fall on your face sometimes, and you need to learn how to pick yourself up. And I remember like when it came time to go to college, my mom was like, "Oh, I don't know if he's ready. I don't know if he's ready." And my dad was like, a little bit pulled me aside and be like, you're ready. Like you're gonna fall on your face, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna make mistakes. And you gotta pick yourself up. You gotta figure out how to do that like now and today. And looking back on it, like I get emotional sometimes because it was trust, man. It was like the ultimate sense of like belief in you, even though in my particular case, I didn't necessarily believe I could do it. But like it's interesting to look back at those figures in your life, parental figures or a coach, and they had that belief in you, like, hey, Gunner, go do your thing, man. Like, go do your thing. And you're like, okay.
I grew up as the son of a coach, and like I tell my guys, especially in college, and obviously in pro ball, it gets even worse. But there's house payments that depend on you at the end of the day. Like this is not high school baseball anymore, and Coach Deggs' livelihood or my livelihood depends on you making good decisions and handling yourself the right way and doing those things. So for Coach Robe to just kind of like, let the shackles off and just say, hey, just take the ropes off and say, go, you got it. Take the training wheels and sit and just let you go. And he did that for a lot of us. It wasn't just me. I think it speaks to who he is, as a man. And I think we all know that if you have any idea of who he is.